we see God walking with Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Then sin enters the world and a great chasm opens up between them. Yet throughout the Old Testament, we continue to see God approaching his people through a voice, a dream, an angelic visitor, and even a burning bush. After Moses leads the Israelites out of captivity in Egypt, God's presence dwells with them in a tabernacle that they repeatedly disassemble and move with them as they wander through the desert. Later, King Solomon oversees the building of a permanent temple in Jerusalem, a physical place where the people can go to be with God. But in those days, not all people were offered equal access to God. In the temple in Jerusalem, the divide between Jews and Gentiles was dramatic. Gentile worshippers were confined to the outermost courts, which also happened to be the location of the temple marketplace. A modern equivalent would be something between a livestock auction and the New York Stock Exchange. Not exactly a worshipful environment. It was into this den of robbers that we see Jesus entering the week leading up to his crucifixion. It is here that we see him cracking a whip and throwing tables, condemning the abuse of power and reminding Jewish leaders of Isaiah 56:7. My house will be called a house of prayer for all nations. Jesus makes it clear that God intends to reach all people, and he intends to reconcile man not only to himself, but to his fellow man. After Jesus' death and resurrection, his disciples become the new temple. Strangers and aliens become fellow citizens, fitted together in him. We who were once separate, defined by our differences, become one. And together, we show God to the world. It is something like a photo mosaic. We are each a unique representation of the work and power of God in a human life. On close inspection, someone viewing the mosaic can see the individual pictures, that we are each beautiful in our own way. But the clearest representation of God is seen from a distance when all of the pictures merge into one overall image of love. We, as the church, are called to carry God's loving presence into the world. But imagine what happens when that image is tarnished with red overtones of anger or the blackness of hate, or with images that show up blank because we choose to withdraw our participation from the faith community altogether. 1 Peter 2:1 warns us, "Rid yourselves of all malice and all deceit, hypocrisy, envy, and slander of every kind." The eyes of the world will be drawn to our flaws. They will see the anger and division and hatred and miss the overall picture. Our unity is so important, and we cannot pursue it with mediocrity. But we are given the power to achieve it through Jesus Christ, who just before he was crucified prayed for the unity of his followers. My prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me and I am in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one, I and them and you and me, so that they may be brought to complete unity. Then the world will know that you sent me and have loved them even as you have loved me. Notice that Jesus was praying not just for the disciples who were with him, but for all those who would believe. Jesus prayed for unity among future believers, and Jesus prays for unity among us. And that gives us hope that we can do things we could never begin to imagine doing on our own.